Boomer. I tell people all the time, you know, if government isn't working, it's our fault. It's our government, and if it isn't working, then it's our responsibility to find good candidates, support them, and get them elected. And, you know, we're here for Steve today. He is a good candidate. Somebody that will talk the truth. You know, he's somebody that will actually discuss issues openly, not look over his shoulder like, what are the polls going to say? The guy stands for something.
Yes.
Think of it. Disgustingly enough, how many leaders can you think of right this minute in elected positions nationwide? Not very many. I'm having trouble coming up with any at the moment. You know, I used to be a Republican. And I ran against Bob Dornan back in 1998. With the passage of the so-called Patriot Act, I believed I could no longer be involved with any form of group that would condone, much less push forward, this direct frontal assault on our civil liberties. So I looked around and where should I go? It took me about a minute and a half to figure out I'm a libertarian. That's really the people that are the classic liberals. They really do want to keep the government out of your bedroom. And I'm a classic conservative. They really do, of all things, want to have smaller government. These are things that we just need to look at. I'm a former drug warrior. You know, back in 1978, I was a federal prosecutor in Los Angeles, downtown. Held the record for the largest drug prosecution in the Central District of California. That was 75 kilos of heroin, 160 pounds. That wasn't it, a whole bunch of heroin. Do you know what the record prosecution is today in the Southern District, in the Central District of California? No. 18 tons of cocaine in one place. You can't fathom, can't imagine how much a ton of cocaine is. So I ask people, whenever I speak about this, because, you know, on the bench, I would look in my own courtroom and see us churning low-level drug offenders through the system for no good purpose whatsoever. We would arrest, convict, incarcerate even big-time drug sellers, drug dealers. And does that mean that now heroin is no longer available in Costa Mesa or Santa Ana or wherever? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It just means that somebody else sees this as an employment opportunity. You go down and look at Colombia. Literally. We could bulldoze Colombia. We could obliterate it from the face of the earth. We could take Ecuador and Peru with it if you wanted to, and it wouldn't make any difference at all with regard to our drug problems here. Why? Ask Steve. He'll tell you that as long as the demand is here, the demand will be met. And if it's not met by Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru, it'll be met by Nigeria, or Burma, Myanmar Republican, or Thailand, or California. Come on, guys. What is the largest cash crop in the state of California today? It is? Number 2 is grapes, okay? You go driving along Highway 5, you go up to Napa, Sonoma, down in Temecula, wherever, see miles and miles of vineyards. Marijuana is a larger cash crop than grapes. So we're going to have, Steve's going to help with this. I hope you help with this. Yeah. I tell Proposition 19, which was on the ballot in the last election, and I look at folks square in the eye and say, Proposition 19 passed. We're just going to delay implementation for 2 years. And it's true. We're going to put on the ballot 2 years from, in November of 2012. It'll be a ballot initiative called Regulate Marijuana Like Wine Initiative of 2012. And it's going to pass. It's going to pass. Yes. And it will spread the country. Yes. It will go around the country. Yes. People are going to see, hey, you know, wait a minute. I don't smoke marijuana. I never have. And you can legalize it. You can give it away on the street corner if you want to. And I'm still not going to smoke marijuana. That's just not my thing. Unless maybe my medical doctor would recommend it, etc. But it's the largest cash crop. Somebody is using it. And so we don't have a choice between shall we have marijuana or not have marijuana. I mean, that's not the choice. It's going to be here one way or the other. So the question is, shall we have marijuana with drug cartels and violent street gangs or without them? That's the Steve understands this. Steve Collette understands this, and he is going to be a force to get honest information in front of the people around our country. I've been talking about this now. Actually, I did something very unusual for a trial court judge. Back in April of 1992, I just passed my 19th anniversary, held a press conference saying, what we're doing isn't working. We've got to come up with something better. Better? Come on. We couldn't do it worse if we tried. Nevertheless, we are going to put these things together. And you look at Mexico, for example. Where is it? Mexico, stop the killings in Mexico. Mexico doesn't have a drug problem. Mexico doesn't have a drug problem. They have an overwhelming drug money problem. And it's drug money that is killing these people in Mexico. And it's our drug money that's doing it. Finally, I mean, the word is getting out. People are discussing this now. Vicente Fox, former president of Mexico, talks the same way I do now. You know, I was down in El Paso, just across the river. It's actually dry by there, the Rio Grande, across from Ciudad Cortez, or Juarez, I mean. And they are, it's just a bloodbath down there, caused by drug money. And we had a conference, it was actually sponsored by our State Department, and we brought a lot of pretty middle and higher level Mexican officials from the Attorney General's office in various states, etc. And I was asked to speak to them, and I did. And I looked at them square in the eye and said, you must legalize marijuana and all drugs in Mexico. And you know something? It won't make any difference at all in our country as to its availability. The head of the DEA was quoted as saying, at any one time, we have 200 tons of cocaine warehoused in Mexico within 3 miles of our border, simply waiting for there to be a scarcity in Albuquerque or Des Moines or wherever, so that they would smuggle the stuff in. Come on, the money is just unbelievable. And we can do this. Today, you do not see Mexican drug cartels raising vineyards in our national forest to compete with Robert Mondavi. They're not doing that. And they're not going to do this with marijuana either. Right.